Good morning. You're up awful early. As you can see, the traffic in Chicago must be horrible because we have 4 chairs disguised as millennials. They'll be here in a minute, we hope. Anybody in the audience who considers himself a millennial, younger than me, would like to sit on the panel where we're taking volunteers? Don't all jump up at once. Oh, come on up. Okay, while the rest of you volunteers are making your mind up, my name is Perry Reynolds. I work for the International Housewares Association. We put on this shindig here once a year at McCormick Place. And this morning, we're going to learn the next chapter of what we learned last year about millennial behavior, millennials, and we're going to get it straight from them. So I want to welcome our friends from HFN to come on up. They're going to run this panel. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Housewares Show.
Good morning, everyone. So this is the first ever live consumer focus group at IHA. So I think what we're hoping is a big conversation with our panelists, with you, talking about everything you want to know about housewares and how millennials feel about them. There are 92 million millennials, so it's no wonder that we're all interested in what they think, how they buy, what their preferences are, and how the scope of retailing and housewares will change in the future to address their needs. So as they move into their prime spending years, which is about now in the curve, and as they start to move into their home buying years, this group is incredibly important to any marketer, and of course to housewares and home. So they're also revolutionizing the way we retail. So they're turning a lot of things on their heads. They want to be in control of when they buy, how they buy, omni-channel marketing. They want to be able to do it on their mobile devices, online, in-store, but where and how they want to. And we're all trying to figure out how to get ahead of that so we can serve them better. So our youngest millennials are going into college. On the higher, older end of the scale, they are 35 years old. So it's a big swath of demographics. So it's really important to get both qualitative, which we're going to address here, research about what's important to them and what makes them tick, as well as quantitative research, which I'm sure many of you engage in on a regular basis. So the way this is going to work today, we're going to introduce our panel. We're going to have, Warren and I have some questions that we're going to ask them. We'll have a conversation. We're going to leave about 15, 20 minutes at the end for you all to ask the panel questions. We have 2 microphones on each aisle, 1 microphone in each aisle, and we'll let you know when it's time to come up to the microphone. You can line up and get ready to ask your questions. So with that, I think I'll just toss it over to you, Warren, and you can introduce our panel and let them tell us a little bit about themselves.
Okay, thanks. And as Perry mentioned, this kind of grew out of a session that we did here last year, which we presented a whole lot of research about millennials, and somebody from the audience said, "Where are the millennials? You people are old." So people like Perry and I like to consider ourselves post-millennials, but we decided that the way to do it was to talk to the folks that we're talking about. So I'm going to ask each of you just to tell us your name, your household status, whether you're live alone, live with somebody, live with folks, wherever you live, and kind of what you do and ballpark on income. So I'm going to start all the way on far right, and please just give us about 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, my name is Julio. I live alone. I'm a translator. I translate Spanish and Portuguese. I like cooking a lot, so that's houseware appliances are my thing. I guess that's all right.
That's good.
That's great. That's exactly what we need.
Everyone, my name is Morgan. I am in the meeting planning industry. I'm an event manager for a convention center. I do live alone. I have the pleasure of living in the city of Chicago. Recently relocated from Washington, D.C. I live alone, but I do foster dogs on occasion, so I have a few furry animals running around with me. I do like to cook when I have time, so that's about me.
That's great. Please, next.
I'm L'Oreal. I'm a mother of two. I do live in Chicago, work at a local hospital. I like to cook. Don't really have time to, but I have to get it in. Have two dogs. Just bought one yesterday, and that's it.
What kind of dog? I'm sorry.
Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I am currently in transition to living alone again. I am a director of marketing, and I love to cook when I have the time with my job.
Want to make sure I don't spill my coffee. My name is Gabriella Rainwater. I live just north of Boulder. I am currently the activities director at a senior living community, and I am working to develop Bertolli Designs, and that's why I'm here. I live at home with my husband, and we have a dog and 2 cats at home. We do a lot of entertaining, and I love to cook.
My name's Bryce Butcher. I am 31. I live at home with my husband, and I'm an industrial designer for a kitchen gadget company. So.
Hi, my name is Claire Foyer. I work at Uncommon Goods as a junior assistant buyer. I'm 24, and I live with my boyfriend and 2 of his best friends.
Okay, well, that's great. That's a good overview, and I think we've already broken the first cliche, is that this generation is still living in their parents' basements, and I don't think we have anybody that's living in their parents' basements. So I've already learned something. Let's talk a little bit about cooking and how you entertain, and not everybody needs to address every question, but we had a few folks who say that they like to cook, and can we hear a little bit about how you do that? Do you cook for yourself? Do you cook for groups? Do you entertain a lot? I'm going to just let folks jump in. Please.
I do cook pretty often when I have time. I definitely choose to meal prep on Sundays, so I go to the grocery store, and then I kind of plan my week of what I choose to eat. Just because kind of being on the go, you never know what's going to pop up at work, after work with friends. So I definitely choose to kind of get all of that established on Sunday. So I have the options, and it's more healthier than going to McDonald's, or I have an actual cooked meal. I do choose to cook with friends every now and then, like a girls' night every Friday, on and off. And yeah.
Do you do a lot of entertaining with big groups?
I do not. Well, my friends are roughly around 8 to 10 women every other Friday, I guess I should say.
That's a big group. Okay. Okay.
I cook as much as I possibly can. Again, with a busy job, a lot of times it's very lax, so I will tend to, just order out or get fast food on the way home, or just skip meals altogether. I try to entertain a lot. However, with big groups, it's very difficult. A lot of my friends have children and are married now, children ranging in the ages of newborn to 5, 6 years old, so it's a lot harder to get people together to entertain. However, I do as much as I possibly can.
Okay. Anybody else want to?
So I love to cook as well, and I think a lot of times it's mostly just cooking for myself and my husband. And what I'll do is maybe on Sunday go to the store and buy pretty much like the basics, maybe chicken, raw chicken, and any other meat or veggies that I might want to eat during the week, and put something together through the week. I don't necessarily put it all together on Sunday, though I probably should to save some time. But I use a app called Paprika to just kind of organize my recipes, and that way I can quickly go to it and just search chicken if I have some in my fridge that I can then make whatever I want out of it. So.
Okay. Anybody else addressing this?
Sure, I'll go. Should I name drop companies that I use for things?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, since my husband and I, we both work a lot, he's currently a graduate student, and I work a full-time job and then a part-time job doing business development. A lot of our cooking, it's very hard to prepare fresh meals, and we want to make sure that we stay healthy, so we use Blue Apron a lot. So we spend the extra money to get everything delivered to us, and we have the recipes prepared for us, and all we just have to do is chop it up and cook it. So that's very convenient. We take advantage of that. And as far as entertaining, we'll have 5 to 7 people over maybe every other weekend, and we'll just go to the store across the street, buy a bunch of food, and I'll just cook for everybody. And I don't know, I enjoy cooking for people, so I don't mind at all. But
Does anybody else use services like Blue Apron or any of the, yeah? And, I'm sorry, yeah, and are you happy with them?
I love Blue Apron. Going back to the meal prep on Sundays, it makes it really easy when you get everything delivered to your door and it's fresh. For people on the go, like all millennials, it just makes it a lot easier instead of going to the store. And it's different ideas. Sometimes we're not as creative to go back to the cooking books that our parents have used. It's literally something that, oh, maybe I've never thought of this recipe, or I would never think to cook something like that. But now I have that as an idea, and I can pass it on to my friends.
So services like Blue Apron are starting to offer non-food products. And in fact, our cover story in HFN for the show issue is about these services. Would you consider buying appliances or cookware or gadgets from a food prep company? Is that something that makes any sense to you?
okay, my husband and I have looked at this. The
Yeah.
only thing that we've bought through Blue Apron, aside from the food services that they provide, is their binder materials to create the cookbook out of all the recipes that we get, because you can save the recipes. They're on very nice paper. But what we've noticed with the products that they offer through their services, even though it has their brand, it's very overpriced for what we're looking for. And we think, well, we just bought a house. Why are we going to spend twice as much for a cookbook or a cutting board with the logo of a brand we like, when we can get the same exact thing for half the price somewhere else? And there's that instant gratification of being able to go on, say, Amazon, and say, oh, look, yeah, I can get that same exact thing in 2 days for a fraction of the price.
And we're going to ask some more questions in a few minutes about where you shop, but just finishing up on food and your entertaining habits. Again, a stereotype is that this generation does a lot of takeout, does a lot of restaurants. True or not true?
So I can speak to that. Even though I work in tabletop, I'd say I think I find cooking in general just pretty intimidating. My boyfriend and I do a lot of takeout. I would say I haven't actually cooked a meal for him in a while, just because our schedules are pretty busy, but also it's so convenient to be able to just go on Seamless, for example, and just order. I also kind of find going to a grocery store a bit intimidating, just because, well, usually I'll go and roam the aisles and pick out what I want, but when it comes to actually preparing a meal, I think there's just a lot of pressure. So I don't really do a lot of entertaining for other people and cooking for other people, which I'm trying to, this is my 2017 goal. But I think Blue Apron and things like that, even though they're kind of, for me, I think a little bit expensive, is a great way of introducing people to cook, because it is intimidating for people who don't necessarily have a lot of background in cooking. So yeah.
Please.
Kind of just to build on what she said, my friends and I, we eat out a lot, or do takeout a lot. It tends to be more impromptu. I feel like sometimes services like Blue Apron or just trying to plan cooking at home, while it may be fun to do that with your friends, it's a little more committal. Kind of like the difference of, what are we feeling? We could get Indian tonight. Oh, well, I don't have that in my fridge. So it's a little easier to go out, but also speak on the boxes as well. I think I have tried HelloFresh. I had a coupon for that to get a free trial, a discounted trial. And for me, I have almost a guilt about the money that I'm spending with it. I have student loans and rent and all those bills, and I keep thinking, well, if I would just get my butt up and go to the grocery store, buy a couple things, and it's going to be a little less expensive for me to do that than do the boxes. So I never really continued with that.
That's a very, very admirable goal, yes. Anybody else about restaurants or eating out?
In regards to eating out, I downloaded an app as of last year just to do kind of see how much I spend. It was called Mint. I don't know if anyone's heard it, but it literally divides. You attach it to your bank account, and it shows you how much you spend on bars, how much you spend on restaurants, how much you spend on clothes. And the astronomical amount that I was spending on takeout and going out with my friends, I just couldn't believe it. And to actually see it changed my whole, mindset of maybe I should start to cook more. And that's what turned me from going out or eating lunch at the job and just packing it and taking the necessary steps of meal prepping and getting, going to the grocery store every Sunday, or it really did change my life. So, yeah.
Morgan, can I ask you a follow-up to that? Where do you get your inspiration for cooking, since you had said it's like, not something that you were initially comfortable with, but so how did you learn? Where did you?
Actually from Blue Apron. My friend suggested it. I recently relocated from DC. My friend suggested Blue Apron, and I thought the recipes were kind of difficult at first, but they really do talk you through it, and it was so easy. And then, of course, going back to my mother cooking all the time and having that, and I just realized I can actually do it. It's not as hard. It was intimidating at first, just looking back to what our parents did and how easy it is to literally press an app now and get Seamless or Uber Eats. But it's not as hard if you really take the time on one day off the week to kind of get your preparation. It doesn't take as long as we would think it would.
And how about your education about tools, cooking tools? Where did you get that?
Just walking around the Container Store or Bed Bath & Beyond, or the local Walmart or Target.
All right, great. Thank you.
Anybody pay attention to TV cooking shows? That do anything for anybody? Please.
I actually do. I'm all into that because right now I work from home, so that's like all I do. Of course, I'm watching TV and getting ideas to kind of like.
Which ones do you like?
Well, I don't have a specific one. I just go to any of those channels. I just see what they have. I don't know if there's anything that I could possibly make myself, and of course basing it on the ingredients that are required. And if it's a lot of money that I have to spend, of course I'm not going to do it. But yeah, if it's simple and not hard to do, I'll always try to do it.
And magazines or TV?
So I actually don't watch a lot of TV, but I would say Facebook. There's a huge, tons of food trends on Facebook, something called I think it's called Taste Made, and I think that actually inspires me to realize how easy some of the recipes are.
Please.
When I wake up to my television being on Rachel Roy, she's always cooking. It used to be a show on one of the cable networks, the Neelys, they used to cook. Also Facebook as well. I've tried some of their recipes on there. They're pretty simple, something fast, so.
I was just gonna add that I used to watch tons of food TV shows, probably 3 to 6 years ago, but then we switched off of cable, and so we just have the internet and the local digital antenna. So that stopped me from watching that. But so my main source of recipes is through blogs that I follow, and thekitchen.com is my favorite. And again, I use that Paprika app that can pull from those blogs and saves those recipes in a format that are easily accessible. So that's my way of having it on the whim. And I just wanted to add too, we used to be avid, we'd go out to restaurants all the time, and our issue was that we wanted to be spontaneous and well, tonight I feel like Indian, we only have this because I planned for this recipe. So that's why I'll buy just a bulk amount of different kind of meats and just have them in the fridge and ready to go. And so if we do feel like Indian, I can type into my app Indian what I have saved, and then I have options that I can then make with the meat that I have. So it allows some spontaneity without having Blue Apron or going out to eat.
Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry, so maybe we'll talk about something else. Maureen, you want to?
So our next segment of questions are going to focus on products, Housewares products. So tell us about some of your favorite Housewares products to buy, and why you buy them and how you make those decisions. Whoever wants to go first. Who? Robert?
I can think of one off the top of my head right now. I just recently bought, name drop, Progressive Spiralizer. I absolutely am in love with the Spiralizer. I'm a little late on the trend, but the mass amount of different vegetables and things that I can do to kind of fake myself out of carbs is very helpful. Whether it be zucchini noodles or carrots or cucumber cold salad. I've been absolutely in love with it.
Anybody else have a new favorite?
Sure. I'll just kind of speak in general about what we like. We really enjoy one item that serves multiple functions because my husband's very techie and I like efficiency. And with space, trying to save space in our kitchen or in our house and not have clutter, we want to find something that serves a dual purpose, or if it has more than two purposes, that's just the golden ticket. And something that's very functional and efficient is key for what we'll purchase.
The one item that I chose, I just recently purchased actually as of last month, was a juicer. I was looking at different ways to drop a couple of pounds but still be healthy. And I thought it would take a long time. It would drain my pocket with buying all the produce, but it actually hasn't. It's been a great experience. I juice every morning and every now and then I juice for dinner. Going back to the spiralizer, one of my coworkers actually just mentioned that, and I saw it the next day. Although a lot of us, I know I canceled my cable, but I still see ads and different things on social media. Snapchat and Instagram, they have now the Food Network. You'll be watching a video or something from one of your friends and will kind of go into a Food Network cooking segment, and that's where I kind of gotten different ideas of different items to purchase.
Wonderful, thanks. All right.
I just wanted to add, I have evolved, I think, with my tools that I use. So I used to probably get, I love kitchen products of all kind, pretty much. So I would reach for everything to play with. But I think with time being harder for us to have, I've learned that I need stuff that are super clean, or super easy to clean. And so if I am going to go through the process of making something, I want as little mess as possible to clean up afterwards. So I think the things that I mainly reach for are literally a chef knife and tongs, because they can be versatile to everything. And then also, I've recently really started to use my KitchenAid, which I've always used because I'm probably more so a baker than anything. But I have now been using it to shred chicken. I saw like a video to do that, and so it's really exciting for me to use it in a savory way too, and it's quick and easy to clean. So.
Great, thank you. L'Oreal, do you have anything you want to add?
More so my Ninja. A lot of times my kids, when I'm getting them prepared for school in the morning, they don't like to eat breakfast, and so I feel like throwing a whole bunch of different fruits in there will give them the full filling until lunch to get them through standardized tests or just the day. So I use that a lot, practically every day in the morning, so that's one of my favorite products.
All right, good. And tell us a little bit about where you like to shop for these products. Brick and mortar stores, online?
Probably Amazon, just because it's a lot cheaper. But also I think, as I'm getting, as I, am accruing a little more money also, I think there's a huge focus on a lot of like handmade. I work at Uncommon Goods, which has a strong focus on handmade, but I also think there's now, as kind of the retail industry and kind of mass-made markets continue to rise, there's also now an emphasis on more handmade products or handmade-looking items.
I shop a lot at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. A lot of companies have been introduced, I've been introduced to through shopping at Marshall's, and then I'll go maybe to Macy's or Nordstrom's and pick up the product if I like it after I get it there, because a lot of times it's discounted. I do Groupon a lot, eBay, Amazon, Macy's.
Great, thank you.
I definitely do Amazon first. I'll check there, and if I can't get it in time, I go to Target or Bed Bath Beyond.
TJ Maxx is a big one for me, just because a lot of the times I'm just kind of browsing. So I'll see something that I've been meaning to look at or meaning to get. It's actually very rare for me to buy something on Amazon, just because I normally want it for that night or the next day. I don't really like to wait for the shipping, so I will go out to another store to buy it. But speaking on, I was gonna say, speaking on where we're getting this to go get these products, Snapchat, and some people have mentioned that with Taster-Made has been a big one, because they show a lot of multi-use to a lot of tools that I wouldn't have thought about. Just for instance, a muffin tin that you can turn it over and make cups and bowls, and you have 100 different recipes that are all very different. So a lot of the inspiration for the products that I want come from those kinds of things: Facebook, Snapchat.
All right, great. Thank you.
Okay. We do a lot of shopping through Amazon, mainly because if we're interested in something, there's almost an aspect of lazy. Do I really want to go all the way across town, because we live in a small town, so do we want to go maybe all the way to Denver to get to the store to see this, when we can go online and not only see the product that we're interested in, but see it from numerous sellers, see different variations of it, get an idea of pricing from different sellers. So it's almost like a competitive thing where we try to find the best quality with the best reviews for the best price, all on, just a handful of sites, if that. So we do a lot of online that way.
Great. Julio and Morgan, do you have anything to add that hasn't been said already?
Well, I usually get it from either Walmart, Target, or Amazon, depending on where they have the best price, and if the product, if it does has different functions, like everyone was saying.
I've actually recently been introduced to Amazon. I've been using it for a lot of different things, but for my household appliances, I would just always go to Target or Walmart or look at Bed Bath & Beyond. And with Bed Bath & Beyond or the Container Store, places like that, you would see, you go there for one thing, but you end up picking up 1,000 different other things. But then I realized the cost savings that you do get from shopping around on Amazon, it really is day and night. So Amazon is my new favorite thing.
And that's the plan, to get you to buy more stuff. You understand that, yes, okay.
So some of you touched on our next question is about, when you are in a store purchasing or shopping for maybe not necessarily housewares, but does housewares tend to be a destination category for you when you go shopping, or is it something that you see while you're out doing other shopping, and you get inspired to purchase if you're in a physical store? Anyone?
If no one else is grabbing it. I think there are certain products that I do like to see in person, because I believe a photo can only do so much. So as far as like home decor goes, I like to be able to touch it and see quality and understand how it was made, and if it's something that's going to last. And I think that's something that's really hard to gather from a picture. So I will go out of my way for something like that. But if I'm already at a store, it's a little dangerous, because I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't know that I needed that. Whereas if I just go onto an online retailer, then I get what I want, and that's it. It's just what I want. It's right there. I look for it right then. So there aren't many things that I will actually go out of my way unless I'm already out.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's a scary thing being in the industry, that I totally agree that I would prefer to be on Amazon, because I won't buy other things, versus if I go to Target, I could be there for 3 hours and leave without $300 in my wallet anymore. So I definitely notice when I shop on Amazon, I save a lot more money. But yeah, for the housewares area, it just sucks me in. I love to look at it all and just see what's going on.
Okay. So let's switch a little bit to frequency of how often you purchase housewares products, and then when you do, how much do you budget for those kind of purchases?
If we're talking gadgets, very small appliances included in that, I would say at least something every week, just to build with cooking. or something that I want to do on the weekend coming up in the future, I don't budget for it. It honestly just becomes, like everybody's saying, it kind of sucks you in. You didn't know you needed that, and then you're walking out of the store with $50 gone on a couple items. So yeah, no budget.
So Robert, how about something more, like, let's say coffee machine or a major appliance, not a major appliance, but a countertop type appliance? How often would you buy those kinds of products?
Probably twice a year. Okay. I would do probably a good month of research just to kind of see what I want. I wouldn't want to commit to something right in the store because I have buyer's remorse very easily. So I would definitely look it up, and then probably once or twice a year I'd make a big purchase.
Anybody else that want to talk?
I think, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Thanks, Morgan.
As for me, I do it more on an as-needed basis for the countertops, the juicers, the spiralizers, things like that. I would probably rather hear it from my coworkers or my colleagues, go to one of my friends' house, or possibly even see it somewhere like on a Facebook ad, and kind of, I'm like impromptu, if I see it, I want it, I'm going to get it within a day or two span. So definitely as needed. With pots and pans and your knives and plates, I used to, coming straight out of college, go for the cheaper, the store brand, but they don't last as long. So now I'm looking obviously for the things that I am paying a little bit more for, but I have more use and more years out of them.
Would those big ticket items ever be an impulse? Would you walk into a store and see a stand mixer or an expensive
machine.
blender or something and just pick it up, or is it always, do you always do some research before, or is it a replacement only?
Go ahead.
Okay. I always research before I'm speaking with coworkers or I'm looking at reviews that people have purchased the item online, because I'm very, very budget friendly and conscious about where my money goes. And so if it's a product that's not quality, then I won't buy it.
So the reviews are very important to you,
Extremely important.
negative and positive.
Both.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sure. We actually set up a budget for what we're going to spend on different things, and we try to anticipate, okay, it's been a while since we've gotten some of these things. There's a chance that we're going to have to buy another coffee maker soon. That's going to probably be our next appliance we have to buy, is buy a new coffee maker, because the last time that we got a coffee maker was when we were both undergraduate students and buying really cheap things and thinking, all right, well, this espresso machine, paid $20 for it. It's made it 5 years. That's going to be going soon. So, we do that research, and I think anything over $50 I will not impulse buy. Just because I know how much money we have to spend every month. We set everything out, and we know how much we have in leeway to pay for those kinds of things that just kind of come up if an appliance breaks. But I will not impulse buy on anything too expensive, and I like to do that research first.
How do you do the research? Would you look at an individual company's website for information, or do you generally go to third parties?
So generally, I'll actually do a search on Google, and I'll see kind of what initially comes up. I'll look at reviews on different sellers, sources, so maybe like a Jet or Amazon, and I'll look at good and bad reviews, and I take them with a grain of salt because, sometimes someone's having a bad day and they're really bitter and they'll put a horrible review because it was shipped late and have nothing to do with the function of it. So, we try to do a lot of research into, what are people saying from different sources on the functionality, the reliability of it, because I want to make sure that if I'm going to spend more money on a product that we can now afford, that it's going to last. It's going to be worth spending that extra dollar.
Warren, I should let us, we're about 2/3 of the way through, so maybe we can let the audience know that if you have questions and you want to stand at the microphone, we'll know then to let you ask your questions. So please line up at the microphone if you have any questions, and we'll call on you once we see people there. And we have somebody.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
For the panel, how often do you buy gifts and for who?
Often. Like I said, I have a lot of friends that are either recently married or in the last 5 years have children, or are moving into new homes, apartments. So I would say probably 5 or so gifts within a 6-month period for housewarming and things like that.
And how much are you spending on those gifts?
Depends on how much I like them. I would say a very good friend, 50.
Okay.
I would say a acquaintance, 20 to 30.
Okay.
And a frenemy?
They don't get a gift.
But if it's a family member or something like that, I would probably go $100, just depending on what the occasion is.
I would say I actually don't buy a lot of gifts for my friends. A lot of times I would rather do like an experience type of gift, so like taking them out to a restaurant, something that we could both enjoy. But I also wanted to go back to how often I buy appliances. I think as a millennial, I graduated college in 2014, but I think there's, as much as they're an influence, I mean, I think we still need to take into account, or at least I do when I purchase or I'm ready to splurge. My mom actually has a huge influence on me. So as much as, I mean, I think she impacts my decision a lot. So when it comes to splurging, I'll actually look at what's in my kitchen or what she has. So as much as there is a focus on what younger people are buying, I think we also still need to really think about the influence our parents have and what their trends, what they were buying and investing in, because that really impacts, like, I know I always had seltzer. Would I necessarily buy that $99 seltzer machine? Yes, because my mom had it and I grew up buying, like, having seltzer in our household. So you have to remember that.
Yeah, very good point.
Would you buy a gift at a different store than you would shop for yourself? Does the prestige of the store matter on a gift?
So I actually spend a lot more on my friends and family than I will ever on myself. So I will actually go out of my way to go to a store to purchase a gift for a friend or family member. And it doesn't even have to be for a special occasion. Like, I have a friend who has a baby, and she was talking about a book she wanted to get for him. So next day I go online and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get that book for him. And I sent it to her because, you know, I thought it would be something that they enjoyed. So I am much more of an impulsive buyer for gifts, I think, just because I love my friends and family and I want to make them happy. And I would never spend money on myself like I do for my friends and family, so for the gifts.
Did you have another question? A follow-up?
Oh, is this on? Yeah. Do you guys shop from catalogs or pamphlets, flyers that you receive in the mail, whether it's unsolicited or subscribed?
I know as for me, I don't at all. I know that was kind of my parents' ideal of, you know, always, I would see them, I remember, like, flipping through different catalogs and magazines. But it's more for me, it's all social media. I hate to say that, that's more like my millennial in me, I guess. But I rarely, if I see it on TV or if a friend has it, or just definitely seeing it on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, or any of those platforms.
Okay, I think maybe we'll take a question from this side now.
Actually, my question is kind of almost a continuation of what you were just talking about. A number of you mentioned that social media was inspirational when it came to cooking and recipe ideas, but have you experienced products through social media that once you saw them on social media led you to buy them, particularly housewares products? And can anyone think of a recent experience where social media introduced them to a housewares product that they did end up purchasing?
Great question.
I'm not sure if this is really considered social media, so, but the kitchen.com, I frequent it, and they kept writing about the Instant Pot, and so constantly reading about it and just hearing their rave reviews, I finally just totally gave in and got one day on Amazon because the price was right and the reviews were astounding.
I actually purchased two things, a crock pot as well as a spiralizer via social media. My coworker mentioned at one point the spiralizer, but then I actually saw it in action on the Food Network, on Snapchat, or maybe it was Tastemade, I can't remember. And I saw how many calories you can with making zucchini noodles, and they just did an actual demonstration on this Snapchat small 30-second video. And it was enough to keep my attention, but still inspire me to want to go and purchase it. And that was, yeah, that's what I got it for.
Wonderful.
Thank you. We'll go back to this side.
Okay. My question is, I was wondering if any of you guys have ever attended like a house or home party, you know, like from companies like Pampered Chef or anything like that, and have bought a product, or if you haven't, would you be interested in attending like a house party from a company like that?
Take that. I have in the past, just out of guilt for friends. I try to avoid them, absolutely. it's horrible to say that, but you feel guilted into buying something. So I honestly try to avoid it. Fake sick. Tell them I'm busy.
I think I've been invited to at least 8 in this past year, and I have one pending in my inbox right now, and I just ignore it like I never got it. I really don't like being put in that position, so I just ignore it.
Understood.
I feel less guilty listening to them because now I know I'm not alone. And following up on what you said is, I'll actually go out of my way to say, I am so sorry. I am working so much that day because I'm almost a people pleaser to a fault. And I know I'll feel obligated to buy something even if I don't need it, and I'm going to hate myself for buying it afterward. I just don't want to make the other person feel bad that, they put the effort into putting on this show and they put out all these things, they give me all this information, and then I don't want it. So I don't want to waste someone's time by going to that. And so I will actually go out of my way to say, I'm sorry, I'm working really late tonight and I can't make it. So,
How do you guys really feel about these? I'm sorry. We'll come back over here.
Yes, a bit of a different question. We spoke about kitchen and food products, coffee machine, laundry. The bigger question maybe, how do you handle laundry, and more specific, laundry baskets, tall laundry baskets, open laundry baskets? What do you use? Where do you purchase it?
So I live uptown in New York City, but I actually bring my laundry all the way downtown Brooklyn to do it at my mom's house to save money. So I use a suitcase, but I love laundry baskets. I think containers are great, storage containers for food. I will invest in a laundry basket. So safe saving ones are the way to go.
I know for me, I was actually recently, a couple of months ago, walking in the Container Store just to buy, I think, shelves for my closet, and I came across this. I live in a 4 or 3 flat, and my laundry is on the basement floor. And I would take my actual laundry basket, drag it, down the stairs. There's no elevator, and break wheels, and go through all this process. But recently in the Container Store, they have this giant book bag, like a satchel or something it's the most amazing thing, and I purchased it and I love it. You just put it on your back and you don't actually, it's heavy, but it's a backpack. So it's absolutely amazing. I don't have to drag the laundry basket down the stairs anymore, and it's life-changing.
Wow.
Okay.
Anybody else on laundry? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and speak to it. I actually never realized how important my laundry basket was. I have several different kinds of laundry baskets. One that I have from, I don't even know when I got it, and it's it has 3 different sub-baskets on this just unit that you can grab a handle and pull it out. So I'll separate out maybe colors or delicates versus, my work clothes. And then I also have another laundry basket off to the side of that I got at Home Goods several years ago that I just put towels in. And then I also have several plastic laundry baskets that I just leave down by the washer and dryer for when I fold clothes, and I can kind of categorize which, are my husband's clothes, which are my clothes, which goes in what drawer. And so I actually have a lot of them, which I didn't realize until you asked the question. But, and I like the narrow because I have narrow stairways and I have a multi-level house, so I'm kind of zigzagging down a couple of levels to get down to my washer and dryer. So I like the narrow and deep laundry basket as opposed to the wide with handles, because it's hard to get down the stairs that way. So.
Okay, we'll come back to the next question over here.
So this is to Claire, because you live with 3 other adults and, in New York City and so forth, and I was just wondering what some of your organizational issues might be or opportunities there, and if you live in a small space, I'm not sure if you do or not, what are some of those organizational challenges that you might have?
Well, since we do a lot of takeout, and I live with 3 23-year-old, 24-year-old boys, one of the challenges is keeping the surfaces clean. We're always looking or they're always looking on Amazon for towels. I would say storage, just storage containers. Organizationally, just keeping the surfaces clean, and having containers on the go, easy to access, to encourage everyone to put their food in them and into the fridge. Organizationally, I'd also say, again, kind of with the laundry basket, I'm designated to do the laundry with my boyfriend, but just making sure there's a space or something for whatever needs to be put away. I don't know if that answers your question well, but.
Well, like, how do you keep things organized in the bathroom or like your mail and making sure it's like sorted through? Like, everyone has their personal space, but yet, you know, you're in a shared space. Like, how do you keep that all contained?
That's an ongoing process. Again, with the mail, actually, I don't think I even got any mail in the last couple of days, but I think, yeah, we're trying to figure that out. Right now, it's just a huge clutter. Yeah, I still trying to figure that out.
I'm gonna switch to this side.
We'll come back over here.
I have another social media question. A lot of you have mentioned Facebook and Snapchat videos for inspiring you with recipes. I'm wondering if seeing, you know, appealing visual images on Instagram, Pinterest, or others also inspires you to either try those recipes or buy appliances, housewares, etc.
For me, Pinterest, I can't believe I didn't say Pinterest. I probably have 500,000 pins on there, like, and it's mostly food. Like, I have it categorized by chicken, veggies, potatoes. Like, I have it all sorted out. And then Instagram is probably my second most used for that. And anything I post is either food related or friends or family, but food is definitely a part of my Instagram life.
Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat is pretty much all I use to kind of get recipes. The images do have to be visual. If it's not plated well and it looks like a pile, it may be the most delicious thing, but I won't make it. It's more about really the life I want to have, what I want it to look like, kind of thing. So that's really what's appealing to me.
I'm also shocked that I didn't mention Pinterest, as I'm a Pinterest fanatic, so maybe I don't think of it as social media, I don't know. But definitely it helps to look at something. It's not like how once again, our mother and father would watch the Food Network. Snapchat, Pinterest, they capture everything in a 1 minute span, or it captures it in one screen, and it just makes it really easy for us to get everything, save it instead of, you know, writing it down, and we always have it on our phones, in which we have with us all the time. So.
Can I just add to that I forgot to talk about the visual part? It is a huge factor for me, because like if I search a lemon bundt cake, I'm gonna look at every single one, and if one's too staged and perfect, I feel like it might not actually be a good recipe. And then if it's really gross looking, it's also not a good recipe to me. So I want one that I feel like someone really worked hard on themselves, but also has some natural look to it. Like I don't trust if it looks too perfect and staged.
Julio, did you have something to add?
I was gonna say I use a lot of the Facebook and YouTube. And if I like a recipe, I'll just take a screenshot and just save it to my phone, so I can have the recipe there. Yeah, just
Was the other one YouTube? Is that what you said?
What was that again?
Did you say YouTube also?
Yeah, YouTube, yeah.
Then you watch instructional videos on how to cook things or something? Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Tom?
Well, first, thank you all for being here. It's so interesting. I just want to put you in a cage and ask you questions all day. But which would you say is more important to you when you consider buying a new product? Something that saves you time or something that teaches you new skills?
Time.
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 Time as well.
And how much time would you say you spend on preparing meals every day? Outside of your research time, when you say how much, what you're going to prepare, how much actual time do you spend making something?
Max 30 minutes.
Go ahead. Maybe about half an hour.
Definitely 30 minutes, but on Sundays, as I try to get everything done, I'm looking at an hour and a half maybe, but yeah, as quick as possible.
I'll say 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what it is. Ideally, 30 to 45-minute range.
Cool. That's great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back on this side.
Hi, I wanted to ask, what do you guys think about direct-to-consumer websites that specialize in a single, like one particular item, like Warby Parker or Harry's Razor, Brooklinen? Are you familiar with those kinds of sites, and have you ever shopped at one?
I've shopped at both, and I actually don't even need glasses. I would say they're great. I mean, I think there's a lot. I mean, I'm always surprised at how well Amazon does because there's so much information, and I think that's how they get you. But I love sites that are clean, that are trendy, that don't have a lot, that have bullet points about the top selling features. I think there's a lot of information that we look at every single day, so the least amount of overwhelming information is great. And I also think that with those sites, you go with a purpose. So with Harry's, for example, I go because I'm interested in the razors. And even though they're specifically more so for men, I will go because it's beautifully curated. There's lifestyle images, which I think are great.
I'll build on that and say there's something really nice about the simplicity of it being very straightforward because as we've all, I think, mentioned, is we're all very busy. We don't have a lot of time to spend on various things. But to kind of play the other side is, as much as I like that simplicity, I don't think I really visit sites like that very often just because if I'm going to shop for something, I want to get information from as many sources as possible in one place to be able to compare and get my knowledge at one place for that level of simplicity. So.
I actually prefer sites like that. Amazon is cool, but if I'm shopping for something, I'm very specific about what I'm shopping for, so I just want to go to that particular site that sells that particular item, look through which one is the best for me, and I'm done with it. So I prefer those type of sites.
Okay, we'll come back this side. We've got about 8 more minutes, so we'll see if we can get through all the questions here.
Good morning, and my question is more about home storage and organization. For example, when you buy new things, do you keep the old stuff for like sentimental value, or would you replace it constantly? And also, if you do store it, would you store it in like a cardboard box, or obviously it relates to what item it is, but would you buy totes, like plastic totes to keep them in, or?
I think for me, when I used to be a little bit of a hoarder, but now that I went from an 1,000 square foot apartment to a 500 square foot apartment, so hoarding doesn't really work as well. I've definitely gotten to the habit of, okay, this is worn down, this does not work anymore, you can afford something or buy something newer, and I do, and then I toss the old. In regards to storage, I keep saying the Container Store. That is my new favorite place, just because my apartment is so small, and I moved from and had so much space, and to truncate or downsize was interesting, but they had everything I needed in order to shelves for my closet, totes, different organization for my pantry. It was amazing. So definitely finding something to still keep my smaller apartment organized with same amount of stuff I had in my 1,000 square foot apartment.
When I get rid of something, I do have a plastic storage bin that kind of lives in our dining room right now because we'll end up putting something in there that we'll then take to like my parents' house and see if maybe they want it or my siblings or my husband's siblings might want. So in that regard, like for storage, that's how we use it, but pretty much we never throw something away. We reach out to all of our friends and family to see if they want it first.
I have a personal policy. If I throw something away, I can always buy something new. So I'm always buying something new because I'm a shopaholic. So I'm always doing a personal audit of things that are old or worn and throwing those out so that I can get something new. Also with children, when my kids have things on the floor, they're going in the trash. So it's always something like that.
Okay, we'll come back here.
I like that last strategy. I'm going to try that at home too. No, I've got a family of 5 as well, and the biggest thing I'm battling with right now is waste. Food waste and packaging waste. When we go and eat out, we come home with a bunch of garbage. And when we eat at home, we love to eat organic and cook, but I end up with a ton of leftovers on the table. So my question is, what do you do? What do you find yourself doing to reduce waste or eliminate waste? What housewares are the best for your lifestyle to get past those issues?
I use a lot of Tupperware bowls. My favorites are like Rubbermaid. I bought like a $12 one that's supposed to do a whole lot of stuff, and it did. So I just ate a turkey burger from like 3 days ago that I stored. So that's how I cut down on the waste. I just store that stuff away in good Tupperware bowls. And then I also am a person who takes leftovers to work. So I'll take it, if we had takeout or whatever we had the night before, I'm taking that to work the next day, so I won't have to spend the $25 that I was spending downtown Chicago on lunch from Starbucks in the morning till going to TGIF Fridays for lunch. So
I love my food storage containers. We actually cook, just because there's two of us in the house right now, is I will cook a meal that will feed us for 2, 3, or 4 nights. And so I like to store them in glass, oven-safe, and microwave-safe containers, because then the nice thing about the glass containers that we use to store our food is that, you know, if it gets shoved to the back of the fridge and it becomes a science experiment, I don't feel like I need to throw that plastic thing away not knowing what is like stuck in the pores of the plastic. And I'm very fortunate that I don't have to take food to work. I get fed at work. So that's not a problem that I have, but I do really like those glass containers that are very versatile for how I'm going to reheat my food.
Okay, we'll come back here again.
Do you guys have friends or family that have registries, whether it's for weddings or new homes, and do you guys shop on their registry, or do you shop where you feel you would shop if it's not if it wasn't on their registry list?
Just from experience of my own wedding, I stick to the registry. If they have a registry, I stick to it. If they don't have one, I give them cash if I can, unless I know that they want something. I just know what it's like to get stuff you don't want.
I've had about 4 weddings in the last year and a half, so I stick to the registry. I wouldn't go off of that.
I go rogue a lot of times. I buy what I want to buy. Mostly if I'm invited to a baby shower or a registry, I know the person personally, so I'm talking to them about, oh, I got this new travel system, so I'm thinking to my man, okay, I'm not buying that. So I know the person personally, so I buy what I want.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take our last question here because we know everybody needs to get back to their day job, so please.
Hi, considering you guys are all very time crazed, how important is it on small gadgets or appliances for those that are smartphone applicable? So like a coffee pot, a measuring tool, something along those lines. Are those in your future purchase consideration?
I've seen a lot of the gadgets that hook to phones. I don't use any of them. Personally, I don't find a use for them. I've seen sous vide machines and things like that. You know, if I'm cooking, I'm going to be in there. I really don't need to monitor it from my phone or monitor my toast from my phone. You know, again, I'm going to be in the experience of cooking. So for me personally, there would have to be a much greater investment or reason to use it. I like it old school, I guess.
We bought 2 of the iPhone app thermometers for our dads, and they love it. For me, I have just a smartwatch and a scale that go to my phone. That's pretty much it for me. But if in my ideal world, I think if I thought about everything in the kitchen, if I was going to use something with my phone, it would probably be my fridge, just to keep on top of that.
I think if I was to choose an appliance that I think would be neat to be connected to my phone, my thought of like a coffee pot, I don't know that I would use connected to my phone because my phone isn't the first thing I go to in the morning, whereas I can prep the grounds the night before, and I literally just walk up and click a button, so I don't really have a use for my phone being connected to it. But something I think would be useful would be like a crock pot connected to my phone, because then if I know it only needs to be in for 4 hours, then maybe while I'm at work and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be home in about 4 hours, then I could click and start it. I don't know if anybody has something like that, but I think that would be kind of neat, because then I don't have to worry about it being on all day if I don't need it on all day.
Just to touch on that, when I got the Instant Pot, that was one of the things that I was like really thinking about, because I have one that syncs with your phone. But the thing is, with a crock pot, if you put chicken in there, you can't leave it for like 3 hours, which is a hardship for me, because I'm gone for like 9 hours and usually it's too long for that. But so I'll just leave it on warm at the end, which it automatically switches to. So I researched that and read people's reviews and realized it just wasn't for me, because you can't leave raw chicken out for that long.
Me personally, I don't even know where my phone is most of the time. I just lost it when I got here today. So it would be something, I'm a person who turns off technology. I barely return people's calls. So it wouldn't be anything that would be beneficial for me.
Well, L'Oreal, we thank you for being here and returning our call. All right.
I
one
wouldn't
last
leave
question.
the house without the phone, by the way. I would die. Like, I couldn't do it.
One last question that to wrap up. Tell us what your perceptions are, brands versus, somebody else mentioned store brands. How important are brands in the housewares category to you? And do you have a favorite brand? Can you?
That goes back to my parents. Store brands, they're always on par normally, but I just have a thing against them. It's just a preconceived notion that for some reason that store brand is gonna be a lot less, so I tend to go for more name brand items.
Do you have a name brand favorite brand?
In the housewares category?
Yeah, is there a go-to brand you have?
No, there's not. It's gonna depend on price and the look of it too, as well.
For the bigger items, KitchenAid. I think my oven, my fridge, my microwave, everything, and my KitchenAid mixer. And the mixer for me is like, I would never I love other ones looking at them, but I trust the KitchenAid because my mom's always had it, same thing. And then for smaller items, it's not so important for me at all, like for gadgets and tools, as long as it meets my needs, and that's it. Yeah.
I'm actually going to kind of play the other side of this, is I really don't like paying attention to big brands. I really look for kind of what the rapport is of the company right now, because I think something that's unfortunate that we've run into as a problem is that something that was great 30 years ago has maybe realized that they can cut costs and make the same amount of money for a product that's going to last a fraction of the time. So as much as I might want to say, okay, this whatever lasted 40 years for, you know, my grandma, I don't have the same confidence that it's going to last me that long now. So I want to be able to know that what I'm going to buy is going to last, and to me that doesn't necessarily mean it being attached to a certain brand.
And for me, I'm actually going to combine. Two ladies said here. I actually do based off of my grandmother and my mother had. KitchenAid was always in our kitchen, and I know it has the years behind it, so naturally to me, my first choice is KitchenAid. Recently, I've been looking at Hamilton Beach, I believe, because just with price, efficiency, and based on the reviews that I have seen, it works for me.
Right. Julio?
Well, for me, the brand's not really that important. I mean, it's not like clothes. It's just like if it does the job, I mean, it's good. I mean, that's the only thing that I base it on. So just on customer reviews and maybe like the brand's reputation.
Great, thank you.
For me, it's also reputation. I think that's everything. I'm going off the things that my family used to get from Sears. I still go to Sears and buy appliances. And if Oprah said it was good, then I know it's good. So anything that she endorses, I'm buying. So stuff like that.
Thank you. Anybody else on brands? All right, well, Julio, Morgan, L'Oreal, Robert, Gabriella, Bryce, and Claire, we thank you so much for being here with us and sharing what you think about housewares. So thank you for your time. And thank you all for joining us, and have a great show today.